Welcome back to the vlog. I know it's been about almost 8 weeks since I did my last one. Just wanted to catch you up as we're about 5 days away from Europe's Strongest Man. So let's get into it. So since we spoke last, started training the events. I would say the first 3 weeks were probably the roughest part of the actual training block. I was working through a few imbalances, getting in there, especially when I was ramping up the volume. But was able to kind of square that away right before I left for the Arnold's. And then since then, I was in a nice training flow state to kind of finish out the prep, of course, the best way that I could. But apologize for not doing more vlogs and, of course, not keeping up with my podcasts. I think for the most part, it just, when it comes to the beginning of the year, of course, you have a lot of different items that you want to take care of. Of course, work responsibilities. But when it came to training, Europe's is the biggest show I've been to yet. I really want to make a great impression, so I had to put all my energy, all my eggs in that basket in terms of being a strongman monk and just really focusing on what I needed to do going forward. But of course, I always do post a lot of my training in my shorts, so if you guys did miss that, you guys can go back into my short list and that will see most of my training. But for the 5 events that we have coming to for Europe, so we have the nickel stones, the deadlift ladder, the car yoke, the Viking press, and then the castle stones to finish it off. Training went really well. Of course, finished really strong and feeling pretty healthy. I got some nicks and dings from training, but compared to any other contest, it's pretty similar, but coming in much more fresh than I did feeling for OSG. So I'm very excited to get out to Leeds, which I leave tomorrow on Wednesday. So one thing I thought was pretty interesting. So 2 years ago around this time, I was getting ready for Clash on the Coast 2. And it was right before I ended up getting banged up, but I was getting pretty cut up for the contest. Still sitting around 245. So flash forward to 2 years, to the present day, sitting about 288. So it's just funny how, of course, towards my kind of smallest, almost getting ready to cut for 105 kilo show 2, probably one of my biggest, where I'm sitting in about 131, 132 kilos. Yeah, it's been quite the transformation. I didn't really kind of realize that I could even put on that much size, but that's why they do call me Thickolas, and I went from Nicholas in that sense. So with the competition being 5 days away, there's been a couple changes to the lineup. Of course, Mateus had to pull out with a torn Achilles, so unfortunately he's going to be out of World's Strongest Man as well. And then since we last put on the blog, Paulo Dwyer also got added to the list, but we still have an even 12 competitors among 11 countries representing Europe's this coming week. In terms of how I think I'm going to fare, when it comes to, I would say, the deadlift ladder, the car yoke, Viking press, the stones, I think I had some of my best training leading up to this. Yoke is probably one of the areas I didn't spend as much time in, is just because that's probably one of my best events kind of throughout the years. So did really I focused more on kind of bulletproofing my legs in terms of having really strong legs. So I really pushed the front squats along with the yoke. But I'm excited to get under that car. Viking press, adding in that Tsunami Bar. I think that it would be interesting in terms of kind of how I fare against the other competitors. I do feel like the Tsunami Bar does give me a little bit of an advantage, being able to train maximally, but not in a sense where it's fatiguing me because I'm doing so much weight, because even with anywhere between 175 to 250 pounds, you can really get a big workout with the Tsunami Bar. Deadlift ladder, I'm wearing a suit this time compared to OSG, so I borrowed one from my buddy Nico Shapralis, the Greek Goliath, so thank you, Nico, for lending that out. And then stones, I put a big emphasis into this. I I was a little disappointed in my stone run over at OSG, so I really wanted to improve upon it. So that's a big area. And then the first event that we had was the nickel stones. And this was a little bit of hit or miss. I've never really done an event like this in competition in terms of max grip for distance. And then especially something with those rings. We did have nickel stones at OSG, but it was only for about 25 feet. I don't think it's too much comparison, so it's a little different. I have a little different of a setup now, having a hook grip and all. So I would think that on some days it felt great, and on some days it was a really tough event. So I'm hoping when it comes to the game day, of course, when I have all that adrenaline, all that noise from the crowd, that I'll be able to perform my best. And if I do above average compared to the other competitors, I think I should be in a good spot for the rest of the contest. So given that we're about 3.5 weeks out from World's Strongest Man, I think it's no surprise that some of the spots that are up for grabs will be filled in by some of the Europeans at this competition. So currently there's 4 spots open at World's Strongest Man. There's technically 5 of us at Europe's that don't have an invite. So that includes myself, Freddie Johansson, Paul Dwyer, Constantine Jarnashia, and also Andre Fortu. So the stakes are as high as ever. On paper, they say this is one of the best lineups that they have for Europe's Strongest Man, so I'm excited to be a part of it with the opportunity to potentially make it to World's Strongest Man. So will it happen? I don't know. You guys will have to tune in and find out. Official Strongman will be streaming, so if you're interested, please sign up to the site to watch the stream. But it's going to be a great show, so we'll be starting around 5:30 p.m. UK time, so about 12:30, 1 o'clock is going to start here in the US. So I will leave you guys with this. You only get one chance to make a good impression, and I'm looking to make a great impression on the people of Leeds and the rest of the world at Europe's Strongest Man this weekend. So tune in and find out all the results, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to the channel, notification bell so you know when all the videos are coming. I'll be the first Italian at Europe's Strongest Man in over 10 years, so looking to make a huge impact. But until then, everybody, stay strong.